One of today's biggest baseball brands started by making wood bats in their garage. And today, Stinger Sports is one of the top baseball equipment companies on the planet. And we got to talk to one of their co-founders today, Brandon, all about how they started the company, how they grew the company, how they test and launch their products, and how they market their products with athletes who are using their products in their games, in their practices, in their training to be the best baseball players in the world. Plus, we learn how influencers like the Bat Bros help them to get their bats seen by millions and millions and millions of baseball players all over the world. You are going to love this inside look at Stinger Sports in today's episode of the Brolletts. Hey, it's Craig, and here on the Brolletts, we interview some of the biggest baseball and sports creators on the planet, and we bring them to you so that we can unveil some of their tricks and secrets and how they are creating the content that us sports fans, we absolutely love. And we've also got a really cool companion to this podcast. It's a newsletter. It's called the Athlete Creator Club, and it's where we go over all of the action steps and things that you can do to start creating content and a brand around your athletic career. All you have to do is head to Brolletts.com. You can sign up. It's free, and we'll send you an email every single week breaking down some of the stuff that we are learning from all of our guests here on the show, as well as some of the top creators and athletes on the planet, like Tom Brady and Russell Westbrook, who have newsletters, or some of your favorite athletes who have podcasts and YouTube channels, to some of the athletes who are doing incredible things, getting brand deals and starting companies. You can sign up right now at Brolletts.com. It's free. Now, let's jump into today's episode.
Right now, your brand is really hot in the BBCor market. What do you guys do in there that everyone's talking about, you guys?
Yeah, I think in the BBCor market, we put a lot of emphasis on making really, really, really hot BBCors and being able to offer them at affordable rates, right? So as kids get older, they get into that BBCor market. We wanted to make sure that once the competitive level gets higher, that those players that couldn't necessarily go out and spend $500 on a bat could still afford a bat that's going to compete with anything out there. And so what we do is, our company, we're all baseball players here. So we're not just some scientists in a lab creating a bat that we think is going to be good, right? We actually use them. We're ball players ourselves. So I personally test all of the BBCors, all the different the bats that we get in, all the prototypes, and get a lot of people here involved in that as well. So I think that's really what separates us, is we are actually baseball players that use these products, so we know what we're talking about there.
Let's go back to the beginning. Your brand started with a lathe in Sean's garage. Most people would stop there. What made you guys keep building, and when did you know this is more than just a side hustle?
Yeah, so really, I never viewed it as a side hustle. I saw where we were going. We started off as a lathe in Sean's garage because we needed to bootstrap it, right? We weren't just we didn't have a lot of money. We built this thing starting off with a couple $100. Actually, it started off before we had a lathe in Sean's garage. So that's further down the road, right? We didn't have enough money for a lathe at first. We started off with pre-cut bats and grew from there. But really, it was the end game, right? We saw a problem, and the problem being that playing sports, and especially baseball, softball, it's become way too expensive, and a lot of kids are just not able to compete because they can't afford high quality gear. And so we wanted to create a company that would make this high quality stuff affordable and also durable. And so that's why we continued on. It's because we have a mission to solve here, and so that's really been our driving force since the beginning.
In those early days in the garage, were you guys literally like figuring it out? Like, did Sean come from like a woodworking background or anything, or is there a lot of bats that didn't make it to the finish line?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Listen, you're going to take your lumps, when you're growing a business, right? You're going to take your lumps. I mean, the thing that both of us really had on our side was we were both very handy people. We've done, remodeling and woodworking and things of that nature, but also both of us are baseball players. We played baseball our entire lives. So we know what a good wood bat looks like. We know what the grains of a good wood bat look like. And, we were able to use that knowledge through trial and error to really replicate and then create a bat that just, performs like the top bats out there for an affordable price. Yeah.
How did you gain early traction in sales when you were first starting?
We really hammered grassroots stuff just locally, getting our products in local players' hands. but we were very early adapters at just social media, just hammering away on social media. In the beginning, we really worked hard on building our Instagram because this was back when Facebook had really just acquired Instagram. And I saw what happened with Facebook and how they really changed it from a platform where, if somebody posts, you're going to see it if you're friends with them, to more algorithm. And hey, if something's salesy, we're going to hide that because we want you to pay to get in front of people. And I knew that Instagram was going to follow suit. So we kind of had a small window to build as quickly as we could on Instagram. So we really hammered at the Instagram, the Instagram platform to build our audience there as quickly as possible. And that's really what gained us some traction there is that Instagram presence.
We all I like looking back and I'm like, man, those were the years. Those were the golden years. I mean, I think we're having a different version of that now with vertical videos. But man, those early days of Instagram growth were something special. For you, I know you're coming to the marketing side, the business side. What was a little more challenging for you? Was it that initial traction, or do you think it's something like now where there is a ton of competition? There is so many different opportunities on the marketing side. A lot more products entering into the market. What was tougher, that 0 to 1, or now where you're at this? All right, we got to figure out how do we get the company to the next level.
I think right now is every stage has its difficulties, right? But right now we're looking to continually build and scale the business. And that's definitely been something that's been difficult with all the competition and stuff that's out there as well, and just gaining additional traction and taking our brand to the next level as far as the brand awareness is concerned. And that's the hardest thing is, really it's market education too. And letting people know that, hey, just because our products are lower priced than, top price products, they're not inferior in any way. We could most definitely charge what all these other companies are charging because it's worth that as far as a performance standpoint, but that's not what we're about here. And that's really been a challenge for us, is that, you don't have to spend $120 on batting gloves to get good batting gloves that will last you. You can get some for $30, $40, and they're going to serve you really well. So that's been a challenge here lately, is that.
So how do you, it's super interesting you say that. So in my day job outside of the podcast, we have that same issue where it's just just because it's lower price doesn't mean that it's lower quality, and trying to get that message across when they're ingrained in their head that, batting gloves are $100 now or 120 or whatever it is. What are some things that you do to try to overcome that? And obviously it's right there in the mission. It's right there when you come to the website, but you can't assume that people are going to read that or go to the about page on the website. So how do you overcome some of that to get people to understand, no, these gloves will rival any other gloves on the planet, and we'll put them to the test right now.
So a lot of that is, obviously through our own content creation, but also user generated content too. So getting our products in the hands of players, at all different skill levels, and some that have, a little bit of a following, some that have a larger following, but really just motivated players, right? People that are motivated to put stuff out there, and getting our stuff in their hands and then hearing their reaction, hearing their stories, and having them put it out there. Because I think that's really important. You're definitely going to trust a third party when they're saying something's good, more so than you are from me. I know it's good, but if I give a pair of gloves to Colt over here, and Colt says, oh man, these gloves are awesome, somebody's going to listen to him more so than me. So that's been a big thing too, is, just that product seeding, getting it out there for people and getting their reactions in the market.
Yeah, love that. And we're going to get much deeper into kind of your content creation process as we go, but I think that's a great seed, is that we can tell people how great it is, right? But it's coming from, it's our own bias. So I love getting it into the hands of other people and getting them to tell the story.
Was there a turning point or viral moment that gave you serious traction? What did you learn from that moment about attention or momentum?
So it's funny, you brought up the BBCor bats earlier. So our very first BBCor bat that we made was the Nuke. Okay. And that's a bat that we have really not changed hardly at all, because I'm very much of the mindset, if it's not broke, don't fix it. That's a fantastic bat. We put a lot of time and effort into that bat. And so there was a really good breakthrough moment with us in the early stages of the baseball bat bros, when they got, they reached out to us and said, hey, you got this bat. Can we try it out? Sent it out to them. I'd been following them for a little while, but those very early stages. They were not nearly as well known as they are now. But Will just got the bat and he absolutely loved it. I mean, he was as soon as he hit with it, he texts me. He's like, dude, I just had the best round of my entire life. I'm like, oh, really? He's like, yo, I love this bat. I absolutely love this bat. And so when that video hit, that really is what put us on the map as far as the BBCor space. We knew we had already made a good bat. We knew that. But I always say that making good stuff, that's the easy part. That's the easy part for us. I know how to make good stuff, right? It's letting everybody know about it and understand, holy crap, this is really good and I should buy this.
If you had to start a baseball brand from scratch today in 2025, what would you do differently and what would you do the same?
Well, I would definitely start with money. That's definitely helpful. That's the big thing. Like, obviously when you're bootstrapping a business and you're starting with a very, very small micro budget, I mean, most people are spending twice as much as what we started with on one BBCor bat these days. You have to just continuously reinvest and really be willing to put in long, hard hours for no money, just because you have that vision of where you're going and that it's all going to pay off. So if I had to do it differently, it's definitely a shorter path to growth if you can start with some money. We just didn't have the resources at that point. We had to be resourceful, right? Lack of resources, you need your resourcefulness to kick in. So that's what we did.
Yeah, which is also a superpower, right? Like, being able to do it that way affords you different luxuries and decisions than if you had taken money as well. So yeah, I agree. Money buys speed, but it also changes, decision making based on that. So, but I agree. Always better to have a little in the bank than to not, for RD and that side.
To just kind of coming off your point there, I just want to be clear, like, as far as what I said, this is if I were to start a new brand now.
Right.
I wouldn't go back and change how we did it. I would not, because listen, you learn so much throughout the path of growing in that way. There's so many things that we've learned, and I've become a much better business person as a result of these failures and these lumps that we've taken, like mistakes that we've made. Like, honestly, listen, you never want to make a mistake, but when they happen, I love it, because like, that makes me better every single time. So I would not go back and change how we've done things.
Love that. Great answer. I want to talk about, and we're going to spend a little time talking about what makes your products different. What makes them as good as what they are, because they consistently rank super high in independent reviews. You got influencers talking about them. I know, like, at the ABCA, like the coaches event, like the gloves, like, won the award. Like, you guys do a really good job. Walk us through, like, idea to prototype to production. Like, what does that look like? What are timelines? Is it literally like you in a room just like drawing a batting glove and like set it? Like, walk us through how that actually happens, because I don't think people understand, like, it's not like you're just calling Alibaba and like getting some batting gloves printed, right? Like, a lot of companies out there. And so how does that work for you guys?
Yeah. I think first and foremost, I kind of touched on it earlier, but we're actually baseball players here. Like, a lot of us here still actually play adult league baseball. I mean, I'm 40 years old, but I still play adult league wood bat baseball. So I'm using this stuff constantly. And so when you're actually using it, you can put that knowledge and, hey, where can I make this better? What can I do here? Batting gloves are ripping here constantly. What can I do to, creatively to solve that problem? And then, go through prototype phases and testing and trying to break it, right? Trying to break the things that you've come up with. And really that's what it all stems from, is just that knowledge of being in the game and constantly in the game. So that way you can speak the language, right? What baseball players are looking for, because you are one. So when it comes down to anything, we are always looking to our products. We have three different things that we stand for. And if any product doesn't meet these three criteria, we're not going to offer it. And that it has to be high performing, it has to be durable, and it has to be able to be affordable. So those three things, as long as it meets those three things, then it can be a stinger product. But if it doesn't meet any of those three, it never becomes a product of ours. And so really, when we're developing the products, there's lots that we have done that haven't gone to market because it didn't meet one of those thresholds. But that's what we look at when we're developing them. So we're testing them for performance, testing against top performers in the industry. You're talking about the BBCor bats. When we're creating a new BBCor bat and thinking about the different ways that we can increase the sweet spot and exit velocity with it, by still staying within the thresholds that we need to, we'll bring out a bat or several bats that are the top competitors in that specific category. And we'll go down in the cage and have metrics there and literally try our hardest to make the competitor's bat beat our bat. And if our bat beats the competitor's bat, even with us trying as hard as possible, then we know we have something, right? And then, durability testing and so on and so forth. So really, it's just a lot of, prototype stage, developing, testing, trying to break it, and making sure it meets those 3 criteria. And that's really the basis for our products and why we're able to be, successful in making high quality stuff affordable.
How many versions or prototypes do you go through to make you happy with the product, like the Nuke or the Missile? When do you know you have a hit on your hands?
Yeah. It depends. There's been times where we nailed it first try. Always hope for that because that's a lot easier when that's the case. But that's very much the exception and not really the rule. I mean, we've had times where there's been countless prototypes. But really it's testing it and making sure it meets those criteria, right? So the performance aspect, we went through actually the new bat that we just launched, our newest bat, the Baller, which is our first 2-piece bat. We had 8 different prototypes that all met like a lot of the criteria, and we were trying to choose between 8 of these different setups. So we had our guys here, then we had independent testers come in and test them and narrow it down to just one. Which one of these did you like the best? And we did it with statistics, with exit velocity numbers, and then we did it without statistics, just based on feel and sound, right? How did the bat feel to you? And those 2 things are really important, right? It's got to feel good because when you're on the field, you don't see, 110 miles an hour, right? You just know, I got that one, right? I smoked that ball. So that's with that one, it was several different prototypes. So it's really a broad range, but it's just a matter of continuing to tweak until we get to that one that really is the home run.
Very cool. We talked about it earlier, but like there's so much because obviously he shows me stuff like every day, so much baseball gear coming out in the marketplace today. How do you guys, avoid chasing trends, stay on brand and on mission, but also without missing some things that are happening that, hey, we still need to create revenue. We still need to generate sales. So we want to chase that, but we want to stay true to our core. Like, how do you guys think about, some of that and seeing what's happening in the market today?
Yeah, that's a tough thing. Trends are always changing, but it's really about, we engage a lot with our customers, mainly on social media. Like if you're on Instagram, you send us a DM, like you're going to get a response more than likely. So we like to talk with our customers, see what they're wanting, what are they looking for, and I think that's kind of another thing that makes us different is, we're a growing company, but we're never going to be too big to where we're not going to talk to you. Like we want that engagement. We want to be, we want to know, hey, you just bought a bat from us and hit a home run. We want you to send us the video because we want to see that and we want to cheer for you and, post it on our story. We're your fans at that point. So I think the big thing there is, listening to your customers and, and creating what they want.
Yeah, we've talked a ton about the bats, but you guys, I think one of the big things, and we see it everywhere now, are like the uniforms have taken off. They're everywhere. You've got gloves, you got training stuff. Like it's become really a holistic company that's serving the baseball player from head to toe today. Is that how you think about it? And how have the uniforms played a role in everything else that you do? Because that gives you access to to teams now to follow up, to upsell the team bat. Like it seems like there's a cool opportunity there. How does everything play together for you guys?
Yeah, it plays really good together. That's always been one of the things and really part of our mission, right? Because, back when I was a kid, there really wasn't travel ball. Travel ball didn't really exist. It was like, Legion. That Legion was like our travel ball. But, we'd recognize that like travel ball is taken over and really it's really, really expensive, right? To get all the things that you want to look good on the field, off the field and all that. So we really wanted to be a head to toe supplier for travel teams and travel organizations to be able to put together these bundles that are really affordable and high quality and look amazing on the field and feel great. And that's been a huge thing for us. And, it continues to grow. But you're exactly right. That gives us even more of an in with people. Sometimes it's like, hey, they don't even know that we make gear until they've used our uniforms. And that's like the introduction to that. And then it works the other way too. If somebody buys a bat, oh, wow, they make uniforms too. Then we can, they work well. They definitely complement each other very well. So
You've had multiple bats featured on the Bat Bros. What do the reviews and videos mean to you guys from marketing and a sales perspective?
Yeah, honestly, it means a lot. So the thing with the Bat Bros is they definitely are market movers. What they say, a lot of people take as gospel, and it's great. I mean, they do a great job. They obviously they know what they're talking about. They swing, hundreds and thousands of bats, and hitting for a living and reviewing bats for a living. So they know what they're doing. But yeah, no, it means a lot when the Bat Bros endorse a product. It definitely helps to move that needle, and sales happen immediately. There's been times where I didn't even know a video was coming out, and all of a sudden just my phone started going crazy. I'm like, all right, what's going on here? And then I see, oh, okay, that makes sense. Will just dropped a missile video and loved it. So it definitely means a lot.
How do you pick the creators to work with you? What makes a good collab versus one that doesn't really go anywhere?
Yeah, so the creators that we pick to work with us, we just look for like-minded people, people that have good intentions, trustworthy people. One of the collabs that we just kind of launched actually a couple days ago was with Dakota McFadden. And Dakota's actually somebody I've known for a little while. He played for the Savannah Bananas. I'm bringing him up because you're wearing that hat right there.
Yeah. So he's a firefighters guy, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yep. He's a player coach now for the Firefighters. Great guy. Known him for a long time, since well before the Bananas thing, Bananas fame and all that. But he's just somebody that he just loves baseball, and he loves helping players. And like, if you look at, I don't know if you follow him on Instagram, but his Instagram stories are constantly him just highlighting other people, So I think like when you're somebody that you're rooting for other people all the time and rooting for other people's success, that's a very good, indication that that's a quality human being, right? That's somebody that you're rooting for other people. You're their cheerleader. And he's one of those guys. And so, that's the type of people that we want to work with, is guys like that. Guys like Jeremy Nowak, swingman. He's another guy that's like that. He just absolutely loves baseball, loves helping people. He's actually my daughter's hitting coach, and he loves like helping her. And he does a fantastic job. So that's really what we look at. And, to answer your question about what makes a good collab and what makes a bad collab, I would say just both sides, doing what they can, right? Doing what they're supposed to do. Obviously a bad collab is when one side doesn't do anything. That's not a collab, So, but we've had those. I mean, that happens. But yeah, I mean, that's the real difference, is we look for the people that are like-minded, good people. And that's who we want to work with.
Are a lot of the collabs or creators that you're working with, is it performance basis, like affiliate ambassador kind of level? Is it just like, hey, we see you're doing some cool stuff, can we shoot you over some product and just kind of see how it goes? Is it pay for post? Like, how do you think about the structure from actually like your marketing strategy?
So we because we're all about keeping our prices low, right? We have to be very careful about what goes out, right, when it comes to ad spend and things like that, pay for post. So every dollar that we can save on that type of thing really goes back to the customer in cost savings on products. So we never really pay for posts or anything like that. That's not really part of our strategy there. But we definitely do some some affiliate stuff. We definitely do some just like, hey, here's some gear. It's really we're very fluid on that. It's some people I want an affiliate code. Some people just, that's not what they're interested in. So we're really open there. We really do all of that.
You make your own content too. What's your content creation process like?
Obviously whenever you're creating content, you want it to be entertaining. So, we look at the educational aspect of it. So that's one thing. And then also comedic aspect of it. So we're definitely going to be getting back to making more of like the funny TikToks and things like that. I think they're really good. They go far, when that happens. And plus, like, if you're in our office just every day, like, you really can't go 15, 20, 30 minutes without hearing just laughter, like chuckling. It's honestly, it's kind of like it's like a dugout here. It really is. And so, you guys have been in dugouts, you know what it's like, right? You're ragging on each other, you're joking around, and that's really what it's like here. And so whenever you have that comedic aspect in a a post or a video, you're going to laugh and you're going to watch it. You're going to share it with your friends. And really that's what we look at is we want to be educating. Obviously we want to be getting our products out there, right? But we want to educate, any type of value that we can give to our audience on, learning different aspects of growing as a baseball player or anything like that. And then also, making stuff funny and entertaining.
I love that. Is there, do you look at it like, is content a big part of like the marketing mix? Is like, hey, like we want to get this number of posts out. Like TikTok's a real strategy. I ran across, now that I'm going on your site, I'm getting retargeted like crazy. So obviously there's an ad strategy on it as well. But content's obviously a good testing strategy to see what works, and then you can put ad spend behind it. Like, talk a little bit about the marketing mix from that side and how maybe strategic you are with knowing we need to produce content, or is, right now you're saying like, yeah, we need to get back into doing some of this or that. Like, look, we're all small companies. There's only so many resources, so much time, so much money. But how do you think about like kind of holistically like the marketing mix?
Yeah, no, it's exactly that. It's, to me, I think I used to have the belief that, there is too much. You can do too much content. I used to think that, right? But that was back in the original, like when I was telling you we were building our Instagram, you post and they see it. If they're following you, they see it. Now I'm of the opposite belief. I feel like, honestly, you can't post too much because not everybody's not going to see all of your stuff. And if they do, guess what? They really, really like you. They want to see more of your stuff. So you're just feeding somebody that wants to be fed. But no, so it's really a lot of just quantity and putting things out there. You have an idea, go make a video. You get a clip of somebody, let's share it on our story. Somebody sends you something, let's share it. But yeah, so definitely it is a very good testing ground for what would work behind some ad spend. And then so we kind of have different strategies there too, as far as like the organic reach versus the paid reach with the ads and testing different things. The organic reach, we know that something that's funny, like different things like that it's gonna go far organically, but it won't necessarily drive sales to your brand if you put ad spend behind it, right? Because if somebody makes a video about blind umpires, and that's funny, that doesn't mean you're gonna sell batting gloves, right? Might sell glasses. I don't know. We don't, but we don't offer glasses. But yeah, so that's the difference there is, entertainment and then sales. So when we're putting ad spend behind something, we want to make sure it's going to convert. So that's the the key thing. So
what's been your best performing video? Why do you think it hit?
So our best performing video. So we made this video, and to me it's obviously fake, right? I mean, it's obviously fake, but we wanted to make it like obviously fake. Have you ever seen those? You remember those old ESPN? Well, you don't, but your dad probably does. You remember those old ESPN videos where it's like Chris Cooley, for the Redskins, like reached through a wall and caught a football, like those kind of just outlandish, obviously fake, but like look real. So we made a video where one of our employees here, Carter, is actually playing college baseball now. He said, "Hey," to the camera, he's like, "Hey, this is the missile, and it's so light I can catch up to anything. I got this machine set to 115, which is ridiculous. It's a Hack Attack Junior. It goes to like 75. But like, so he gets in there and then smokes one off the light pole, but it's like so obviously fake. Like even the ball hitting the light pole and like bouncing, it just looks fake. But it was entertaining, right? It was fun. It was entertaining. And that was our best, performing video as far as how far it went and how viral it went. We knew like by making something kind of obviously fake, but maybe some people would like argue about it, that we would get those comments like, "That's so fake. No, man, you totally did that." And that obviously just helps it to go.
That's what I was going to say is like probably the engagement with something like that of just people like, just that's just social media, right? The comments and the good and the bad both help you to elevate, right? And get more reach and more engagement. So that's super cool. I want to talk as we kind of wrap up the content section and just on the marketing side with so many, brands entering the space, like how do you make something that's distinctively Stinger? Like, so when someone sees an ad or they see a video or they see like, how is it you versus, oh, it's just another baseball video or it's just another batting glove that's out there, or it's just another bat that's out there. How do you think about making it like the Stinger voice or the Stinger brand or the Stinger look so that you really differentiate yourself in the market?
Yeah, I think so. The Stinger voice, first and foremost, is the voice of a baseball player. You guys both know as well as I do that we kind of have our own language. We say a lot of things. We honestly speak in whole sentences that other people that don't play baseball wouldn't even understand. All these different terms that we use and all that. So that the Stinger voice is that. It's the voice of a baseball player, because that's who we are and that's who we want to speak to. In making products uniquely Stinger is, obviously our branding, but hitting those three thresholds that I talked about, high performing, high, durability and affordability. That's what makes a Stinger product a Stinger product. So, speaking the language and those three things when it comes to a product, that's really what makes it uniquely a Stinger product.
What's one underutilized platform or strategy more baseball brands should be paying attention to right now?
I honestly still think that TikTok is underutilized. I really do. The more, the controversy and stuff about, maybe it's going to get banned and all this thing, it's some people haven't really took full, hold of that. But, I saw it from an early standpoint that, it really was what Instagram was when we started, is you have that ability to go from 0 to 100 super fast. And just by your very first post could be viral. And now you have an audience where you didn't have one before. So I think that that's definitely underutilized. What's happening now in social media, though, is because TikTok has had such great success, Instagram is really like, hey, we need to steal some of this thunder, the way Instagram really has always done. Like stories came from, what is it? Snapchat. Yeah, stories came from Snapchat. And then, the reels are coming from TikToks. They're TikToks. But that's really created a new opportunity in Instagram where they're allowing that the viral things. They're allowing that virility, where in the past they really suppressed anything like that because they're trying to kind of steal some of that TikTok thunder. So two underutilized things for sure: short form video, TikTok, and Reels, Facebook Reels, Instagram Reels, and then really YouTube Shorts as well. Like all that short form stuff. That's really a underutilized thing right now.
What's your personal favorite bat from Stinger?
So I play wood bat baseball. So my personal favorite bat is the BE5T model of our wood bats. I actually have one here. So it's got like a puck knob on it. And that's the bat that I use. But if you do BE, so it's Brandon Eaton, 5 is my number. And I just added a T on it because if you put it all together, it says best.
That's cool.
I thought it was kind of funny. But yeah, so that's my favorite bat.
Who's the coolest person that's worn a Stinger product or year?
Coolest person. Man, that's tough because we work with so many cool people. I mentioned a couple of them with Jeremy and Dakota. Both those guys are top notch. Mark Paul, he's super cool. Do you know him? MP3. He's a super cool guy. Yeah. I mean, those are three of the top, but I'm not saying those are the only three. And we work with so many cool people, but those are definitely three of the top ones.
Who's a dream collab or athlete you'd love to have on the Stinger team?
I'm not a Yankees fan, but I would say probably Aaron Judge would be a great guy. I like the way he conducts himself. I like, he just, to me, he's everything good about baseball, right? He does it the right way, works hard. Obviously he's a great player, so I'd say probably him.
It's a great pick. I think he fits the values you've been talking about this whole episode, like to a T. So good stuff.
Best business advice you got from a coach or mentor that's helped you in growing Stinger?
Best business advice that I ever got was honestly from a coach, and he told me to just start. I think a lot of times that's the hardest part for people is they get that analysis paralysis and they're like, oh, I'm not ready. When's the right time? Well, the right time's right now. Like, just do it. Just get started and build from there. And so that's probably the best advice I got on business is just to start.
What's a product or design that you thought was going to hit, but it didn't?
There's been a lot of videos that we put a lot of time into that I thought were really going to go viral. And like everybody in the office absolutely loved them. There's one in particular that it's actually my partner here, Jordan, and he was making a video about like it was a voiceover from Nacho Libre, and I just thought it was the funniest thing ever. And it probably has a total of like 1,000 views, and probably 950 of them are from me just laughing to myself. But that didn't really catch. But that's something that I thought was really going to do well, but didn't. But there's a lot of those videos. It's funny because you put a lot of time into something like a video like that, and you think it's going to catch, and that's the stuff that takes 13 seconds, and that's what actually catches. You just never know.
You're like the 10th person that's told us the same thing. Like we're like, this is the one, and it's never the one. The same thing's true with ads too. You think like this ad is going to be the one, and it's always just the basic graphic one that's just like buy our bat, buy one get one free. You're like, oh, we threw that together in 10 seconds.
Yep.
What's got you excited for Stinger right now? Anything fun you're working on for the summer or the season?
Yeah, I'm super excited about a lot of things right now. So we're the official name sponsor and uniform provider and bat provider for the high school baseball national championship, which is going to be played in Omaha. Yeah, right after the College World Series. So we're super excited about that. Everybody there is going to be swinging Stinger bats, Stinger uniforms, and it's the top high school players from across the country representing their state at Charles Schwab. Same place as the College World Series, and right after that. So I'm super excited about that. Some new things that we have coming out. We actually are launching our new protective series. So we have some leg guards, elbow guards, hand guards, and each one of those has interchangeable straps. So you can buy like a navy blue, and hey, I really want to put pink with this navy blue. You can get mixed with a pink strap. So they come with different strap kits you can buy, so you can mix and match and put your own flavor on it, really customize it. And so that's one of the things I'm really excited about that we're launching here soon.
Well, that sounds fun, man. The high school series sounds awesome. The customizable stuff. I mean, obviously I see it with his team like every day. Like the drip of the day is crazy, but I love the customization on it. In the show notes, I'll make sure that we link to some of our favorite products. I know we've been eyeing the Miami Knights, the Miami Knights batting gloves. Those are sick with the palm trees and stuff. Like you guys have some really, really cool stuff. So we'll make sure that we link up some of our favorites in the show notes. It's stingerwoodbats.com. Anywhere else that we could send people to learn what you guys are doing?
Yeah, any of our social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You search Stinger on any of those, you'll find us there.
Awesome. We'll make sure we link up to all of them. And man, I just want to thank you for spending some time out of your day and doing this. And hopefully we inspired a bunch of kids who are thinking about building a baseball brand. They can learn something from you, and they go learn about Stinger and what you're doing. And high school guys, go get a BBCor from them because they are legit. They are awesome. And just thanks for the time, man. This has been great.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thanks, Brandon.